Super Mario Bros. Z needs no introduction. If you know about the Mario of Sonic community, you've heard of it. You've seen at least some clips, and you all know how it went from 2006 to 2012, when it was cancelled. Also, ever since 2020, its reboot has been on Mark&S on YouTube channel. I bring this up because some people still don't seem to know that. Maybe you forgot. You can't deny that this web series has impacted sprite animations, for better or worse. Many have tried doing their own takes on its premise, or putting a spin to it, with varying results. SMB Heroes of the Stars, Worlds in Danger, Sonic and the Dark Emeralds, and everyone's favorite, SMB Deluxe. Yeah, I'll admit that while many of these have their ideas, they're not, you know, the best. Yeah, Heroes of the Stars was great, and then fell into decency/mediocrity, depending on who you're talking to about this series. And I've heard good things about Mario and Luigi the Mask, but most of them really are just SMBZ, but worse. Not all of them are like this, of course, and some can stand on their own, despite being similar to it. Case in point, today's topic, Mario, Sonic, and Kirby, Warriors of Chaos. On the surface, it doesn't look like much. I mean, what is this? SMBZ, but with Kirby? That's not even a new concept. But if you spend time watching it, oh boy, will you change your mind about it. This wouldn't be what I would have been saying a few years ago though. While episode 1 was good, it wasn't anything to write home about in my eyes. It celebrated the Mario series, and established Sonic and friends would be tagging along with our favorite Italian heroes. But that was really it. And you know what? Maybe it was intentionally holding back its potential, because episode 2 is great. So great that it makes the first look like a garbage post. It took a lot of risks, and nearly all of them paid off. Curve Crew deserves a lot of respect, not just in the sprite community, but the Nintendo community as a whole for what is done. And what better way to help spreading awareness of it than talking about it? Boo! Spoilers ahead. Watch the piece of media I'm covering before my review. Man, do I love the animation in this one. Sprite animations are already a pain in the neck to learn, and this must have been one of the most annoying animations to do. Not because it was hard to animate what happens in it necessarily, but because of the other circumstances. There are over 50 unique characters used. That's not even counting duplicate enemies, ones in the opening or ending, or ones that I might have forgotten counting. This would have already been a lot in a 10-minute video. This one is over an hour long, and there are 4 fight scenes in it. Granted, one is just the villains the Mario Brothers fought, and the ones the Sonic characters fought, and another is in the next episode preview, but still, that's 4 fights. And given how many sprite animations in the SMBZ subgenre take the generic anime approach, where around 1/3 of the end product is the characters standing and moving their lips. Yes, I learned how to say genre now. Yippee! Not to mention how there are many notable examples of their fights being too similar to the ones from anime. Cap Cap, Smashinity, Cap Cap. It needs seeing the attention to detail in something that's double the length. These fights are breathtaking. It might be just because I don't watch many Japanese cartoons, but these are the most original and well choreographed fights I've seen in a while. And I adore how every character gets to do something. Luigi doesn't get to do much, admittedly, in Heroes of the Stars, even after a whole episode of doing his best to beat the tar out of his brother. That's not a jab on Heroes of the Stars or Kratos Goji. The web series itself still has its merits. I just think it could have done more with him. So it's nice to see him being on even ground with Mario, rather than better or worse than him. The animated close-ups are overall decent. They may not be on the same level as Mario and Kirby Superstar Legacy, but they're nothing to scoff at. When it comes to characterization, it's not much to write home about generally, only a few stand out. Luigi, like I said, isn't made out to be a coward, not that he's not afraid of anything mind you, but again, he's as courageous as Mario without feeling like a clone. Peach's characterization follows the Mario Bros. Movie approach, rather than the one in the Super Mario games, or most games about the IP for that matter. While she did get kidnapped last time, and doesn't fight in this episode, at the very least not in the same manner as Mario, Sonic and their friends, she isn't defenseless. As Bowser is minding his own business, she's the one to start talking about his plans of achieving true happiness. She asks him if it's really worth it to kidnap her, attempting to make him question what the point in that is, if he's going to be defeated regardless, to which he shrugs off, arguing that this time will be different. Sure, he may have a 40-year-old history of having his plans ruined, but today he's going to win for sure. But this is only a short preview to the scene after the fight against the green turtle-like baddie and the two plumbers. Peach confronts Bowser and stands up for the two of them. She's done seeing him trying to get them out of the picture. Even outside of rescuing her countless times, they've done various acts of kindness, even when frankly they didn't need to. And he wants to take them away, also she has to be with someone who rarely ever does that, even if he's forced to. He has to be too full of himself if he seriously thinks he will do as good a job as them at fighting for what's right. Never mind a better job. And as for the King of the Koopas himself, I do have a few things to say about his character too. While he's as evil as always, he does have some depth. Much like the princess, his character took a page out of the Mario movie, where he wants to marry her not necessarily because he's the default bad guy of the series, but because he's jealous or lonely inside. Heck, if you go back to her speech, he does show some remorse, making him feel more human. Nah, who am I kidding? He fakes being sorry and goes, if I can't have it, no one can, and decides to end their life along with the Mario Brothers, taking King Dedede's rainbow drop and going full evil. And let me tell you, the brainwashed Bowser fight was both cool and terrifying at the same time. If this wasn't, you know, episode 2, I would have genuinely wondered if the main characters were going to die. You know what would be cooler though? If there was voice acting in this animation, but alas, it's rare for Gmod of sprite animations to have voice acting that isn't from AI / text-to-speech bots. I'm sure this won't have any...
Alrighty then, it's gonna be over before you know it. You're with me on this, right Luigi?
Hey, that's pretty good.
I don't have much to say about the voice acting in this episode. My favorites would have to be Kitty 8 Machine as Peach, as Neck Chu as Bowser Jr., but everyone did a great job sounding like the official actors. The line delivery is on point too. Rarely does it feel like they're going through the motions. Even as someone who doesn't enjoy Dedede's voice in the English dub of the Kirby anime, seeing JSA King 11 bringing the character to life in a way similar to that of Ted Lewis managed to make me crack a smile every now and then. The plot of this episode tackles things that were left unresolved in the first, brings up new elements that you've never seen in other sprite series, and gives every character the spotlight they deserve. The ironic part about all of this? It can all be dumbed down to Sonic and friends fighting the Koopalings, while Mario and Luigi fight Bowser's minions, and eventually himself. But the episode isn't content in doing just that. No! All the added details really help give it its own personality. This isn't different from SMBZ because Mario and Luigi can talk too. Okay, it is, but it's not just that. It's the fact that this sprite animation takes elements from the IPs it's based on in a very thoughtful way. The rainbow drop giving Bowser dark matter power isn't metaphorically held as a crutch. It's used organically to show how much getting rejected by the princess hurts for him. And while one could argue that the scene where Toadette and the two Toads from the new Soup games get ambushed by Galactanite could be cut simply because it's not too important to the episode's plot, I don't agree with this sentiment. Not that I've seen people say that, but let's say hypothetically that someone said that. That would dismiss the point. It's supposed to foreshadow what will happen in the next episodes. Galactanite may not be relevant in this episode, but I'll go ahead and argue it's gonna be a big focus. At the very least, in the same way Sarasa Land was for Heroes of the Stars since episode 9, until Kratos' Gorge's account was hacked and he had to change his account and reboot his web series. So I don't think the episode is hyping him up for nothing. Also, it's nice to see Peach being saved early rather than later. In cases where this was done right when the main characters are almost in the middle of their journey, it would have given the impression that the product lost the plot or stopped caring. But here it doesn't bother me because it's done so early in the show's run. This is before we even see the characters from the Kirby franchise even meet most of the cast. I think the show can get away with it, especially when it can give Princess Peach a role aside from being a damsel in distress. Episode 2 of Mario, Sonic and Kirby Warriors of Chaos isn't just a great episode. It is an achievement that not only whoever worked on it should be proud of, but it's one of the greatest achievements in the Mario community and the Nintendo community in general. I might regret saying this later, but I don't care. This is shaping up to be one of the best Nintendo web series ever made, and I'm certain that it will be remembered in the sprite community just as much as SMBZ is on the internet. Make sure to subscribe to Curb Crew and see what the hype is all about. Just don't go harass him because he hasn't made the next episode in like 3 seconds. Yes, I know some of you have watched the video anyway despite not seeing the piece of media I've covered. You win!